On the second floor of the hotel, Supervisor Bob Vinson was on night duty when he noticed a strange-looking machine in the corridor that had not been there until a while ago. This floor of the hotel was dedicated to employees. Seeing this strange machine here at this time of night, the supervisor felt something was wrong. It was a metal box with another small box connected to it, and the front of it looked like a strange control panel. There were a total of 28 switches in the control panel, which were also numbered. All the switches were facing down except for switch number 23. It was 6:30 in the morning at that time, and this was the incident at the Harvey's Lake Tahoe Hotel and Casino in Nevada that was going to make national news headlines in the next 24 hours. For Bob Vinson, the surprising thing was not just the strange machine itself. He had been on duty almost all night, but he hadn't heard any sound of a machine being placed in the corridor. Whoever had left this machine here had placed it on top of 4 wooden blocks, which were embedded in the carpet of the corridor, indicating that the machine was quite heavy. What made this incident even more strange was that the locks of the doors around where the machine was placed had been disabled using superglue. Bob Vinson was still in confusion when he found an envelope lying next to the machine, which had "To the Harvey's Management" written on it. Welcome back to Euro TV Videos. The Harvey's Lake Tahoe is a well-known casino and hotel in the American state of Nevada. At the time we are talking about, this was an 11-story building with 197 rooms. When Bob Vinson, who was on the second floor, found the envelope, he ran to call security. Later, the police and fire department were also called. At first, no one had the courage to pick up the envelope and check it. As everyone feared it might be a trap. Later, after moving it with a broom to ensure it was safe, they opened it. Inside the envelope, they found a 3-page document typed by a typewriter. At the top, there was a headline that read, "Warning for Hotel Management and Bomb Squad." Under the headline, it was written that one should not try to move this bomb, because there is a mechanism inside it that if it is shaken even slightly, it will detonate in a millisecond. One should not even try to put water or gas in it because it has float switches inside. If this is done, the air pressure inside the machine will increase, and in this case, it will also explode. The screw on the top of the machine is also connected to the trigger, so even if the screw is turned to 25%, it will still explode. In Simpe, this bomb was so fragile that even the slightest movement could detonate it, at least according to what was written in the letter. At that moment, 600 guests were sleeping in their rooms at the hotel. The police first evacuated the hotel and instructed everyone to move to the parking lot. Then the bomb squad was called, and they carefully examined the machine. It was a box made of half-inch thick steel sheets, welded together with great precision. Wherever there were any marks on the box, they had been smoothed out using putty, similar to what is used on car bodies. Bubble levels were installed on all 4 sides of the box, likely to ensure that the machine was kept perfectly level. All these details indicated that what was written in the letter might actually be true. The letter further stated that this bomb could not be defused by any means. Even the person who built it could not defuse it. It had an automatic timer that would detonate it within the next 24 hours. The only way to move it safely was by following the instructions given in the letter, and even then, only to a secure location. Considering the sensitivity of the situation, law enforcement agencies and the bomb squad avoided taking any action that could trigger an explosion. Their first step was to check the box for any fingerprints, but they found none. Then they took photos of it from all sides and X-rayed it with a special X-ray machine to find out if there was really something inside or if it was just a hoax. While the X-ray was developing, they put a stethoscope on the body of the box and listened carefully. There was definitely something inside that was making a sound. Something inside the box was constantly moving. The letter claimed that there was TNT inside the box, but how much was it? At one point in the letter hinted that if the bomb went off, the casinos across the road would also suffer significant damage. It also included these words, "You are advised to keep people at least 1,200 feet away from this bomb's radius." Police officers also evacuated nearby buildings, shut off the hotel's gas pipeline, and employees of the casino began shifting millions of dollars in cash elsewhere. FBI agents also arrived on the scene and set up a command and control center for the operation in a nearby building. The faces of the police and law enforcement agencies were screaming that the matter was more serious than it seemed. But after all, what were the demands of the person who placed this bomb here? The letter stated that they wanted $3 million in cash, but the condition was that the money should be 100 used notes with no markings on them and no chemicals applied to the notes. And it was also written that if any tricks were attempted, the method to defuse the bomb would not be revealed. Moreover, if the demand was not met within 24 hours, the automatic timers would detonate the bomb on their own. But after all, who was this money supposed to be given to, and how? When the developed X-ray film returned from the lab, the blurry black and white image at least partially supported the claim of the threatening letter. The small control box on top of the machine was seen in the X-ray to have wires connected to its screw, which was also mentioned in the letter. The box had a straight tube that could have been a tilt sensor, and a float valve was also clearly visible. In addition, the box below was filled with various cylinders. At that time, the police had no idea what these cylinders were made of. One thing was certain. The person who wrote the letter was not playing a prank. This machine was really a bomb. The 24-hour deadline was slowly running out, so the authorities were ready to pay the ransom. The 3-page letter also included information about the delivery of the money. It would be delivered by helicopter. The instructions for the pilot were that he would land near the LTA building at Lake Tahoe Airport at 11 p.m., and the helicopter should face south. After that, the pilot would land and stand near the fence where he would receive a call, and the rest of the instructions would be given in the same call. It should be remembered that only the pilot should be in the helicopter, neither a gunman nor any other person. To accomplish this task, an agent named Joe Cook launched an FBI helicopter. $3 million in cash was kept in the helicopter, but all of it was fake notes, and a gunman was also hidden behind the pilot's seat in the helicopter. The gunman was instructed that no matter what happened, he had to protect the FBI agent. At exactly 11 p.m., the FBI agent landed at the designated location and stood next to the fence. A little while later, the phone booth near the fence started ringing. When the agent picked up the phone, a man on the other end said that there was a letter under the table of the phone booth and that he should pick it up and read it. Whoever was on the other side was quite clever. He didn't want to stay on a public phone for more than 5 seconds. The longer the call, the higher the chances of it being traced. This new letter was addressed to the pilot. It said, "First, go to the helicopter and shine a flashlight inside to show every corner of the helicopter. Don't forget, we're watching you. Then take off and head towards Highway 50. After exactly 15 minutes, you will see a strobe light in the forest on your right-hand side. Face south near the strobe light and land. There you will find another letter hanging on a tree." The pilot did exactly that. He cleverly illuminated the cockpit of the helicopter and showed in such a way that the gunman could not be seen. And after taking off, he reached the exact point where he saw the strobe light. However, upon reaching the location, the pilot could no longer see any strobe light anywhere in the distance. For the next hour, he kept circling there, but in the dark night, there was no movement in the woods. Therefore, he returned to the airport and landed. Later, they realized that they hadn't read the instructions correctly, and the actual location they were supposed to go to was miles away. To send a message to the person giving the instructions, a news report was aired on TV stating that there was some confusion regarding the location in the instructions. When the person who had planned this entire game found out that the police were still willing to give the money, he called the police station and said, "Turn switch number 5 up on the machine located in Harvey's hotel, and wait for the next phone call." Maybe he wanted to buy some time to come up with a new plan. That's why he told them to flip the dummy switch. But by now, it was too late. It was 6:40 in the morning, meaning the bomb had been sitting in the hotel for over 24 hours. However, even after the deadline had passed, it hadn't detonated. This was a positive sign. Meanwhile, at the Command and Control Center, the teams from the FBI, police, bomb squad, and fire department estimated that the box could contain a maximum of 1,000 pounds of TNT. They had done all the calculations and concluded that if the bomb exploded in the hotel, the building's pillars wouldn't be damaged. At most, the interior of the floors would suffer damage. Additionally, they placed a small controlled bomb next to the main bomb. The plan was that when this plastic explosive detonated, it would disable the control box, potentially preventing the TNT from detonating. All preparations were complete. The surrounding buildings were evacuated, and the bomb was set to be detonated. It was now August 27th at 3:45 in the afternoon. A huge crowd stood a kilometer away watching the scene while news outlets were recording the event. At that moment, the call of "Fire in the hole" was heard, and the remote control button was pressed. The entire machine lying in the distance shook from the impact, and the bomb exploded. But as stated in the letter, there was no TNT inside. Instead, after checking, it was discovered that the bomb contained dynamite, which has a significantly weaker explosion compared to TNT. But who was the person who planted this bomb? The investigation revealed that the man who planted the bomb at Harvey's Hotel and Casino was 58-year-old John Burgess. His two sons were also helping him in this scheme. He had lost his entire life savings in this very casino. That's when he devised this entire plan with great cunning to extort money from the hotel's owner. Later, it was revealed that John Burgess' plan was to steal the helicopter along with the cash. If the pilot had reached the designated location and gone into the forest to find the new envelope, John Burgess' sons would have taken off with the helicopter. They had planned to escape to a location where they had already parked their getaway car. John Burgess was sentenced to 20 years in prison, while his sons were pardoned in exchange for cooperating with the police. In 1996, John Burgess passed away due to liver cancer. After this incident, the owner of Harvey's Hotel renovated it and relaunched it with a new design and more rooms. We hope you will like and share this video from EuroTV. Thank you all for your kind comments and support. See you in the next exciting video.